From Texas State University in San Marcos, I'm Deborah Carter, and this is the APCE GSO podcast. Today, I'm talking to Mun Chung, and we're talking about his writing process, about his human resources conference he attended in Virginia, the process of writing a conference proposal, asking a professor to help him with that, attending a conference, and his general advice on reading a lot, getting a solid foundation of your field, but also somehow establishing that work-life balance. Hello, Mun. Welcome to our podcast today. It's a lovely fall day. The weather's starting to cool down, and it's nice to see you here in APCE 1.
Yeah, hi Deborah, nice to meet you again, and it's always my pleasure to see you. Yeah, we are in the Studio B in the APCE library on the first floor, and it's really a cozy place to record this podcast episode.
So, Mun, I was hoping to talk with you today about writing because this is a big part of being a graduate student, and I know something that you've been working on, which is your literature review for your dissertation. How's that going?
Well, writing is a kind of like essential and fundamental factors and components that influences our journey in PhD program, right? Writing going fine, and I'm really enjoying my process. But at the same time, I believe that we are in the same position as artists who creates something from nothing. So of course, every time when I try to write something else, it is really really painful. But at the same time, after you finish your writing and read your like manuscript or draft, that makes me really happy because obviously that's my baby that I created, right? Even though the quality of that manuscript doesn't satisfy me, that's fine because it makes me a little bit happy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I know when I write, I wish I had more time. Usually I am able to write what is required, but it's not well written. I feel like I wish the sentences were better and flowed more well. I wish I had more metaphors and it was more creative. A lot of times it's just the outline and it's filled out. What is your process when you have something you need to write and you sit down on your computer and you have a blank piece of paper and a Word document? What is your process? How do you start?
So, well, my process is, well, I mean, everyone has their own unique process, but mine is a little bit slower than others because I need a lot of time. After I decided to write the manuscript or draft about topic A, I need to write a lot of literature related to topic A to grasp what is the gap between literature and what is the concept of this topic. Like, I need to reorganize the concept in my mind before start writing. And then after I grasp the basic concept and the research streams in the field, then I can start writing.
So, do you write an outline first? Do you write some of the middle paragraphs and then you go back and write the introduction and the conclusion? What is the first part that you write?
Well, I don't draw any outline for the manuscript before I start writing. Instead, I draw a picture or diagram in the whiteboard on the wall or on the wall using post-it or board marker to visualize my idea. For example, let's say, so my topic is about knowledge hiding in the higher education. So then I need to grasp what is the concept of knowledge and what is the concept of knowledge hiding as a behavior related to knowledge, right? So I search a lot of literature and read them all and write the basic concept based on my understanding, not their argument. Based on my understanding, I put okay, this is a type of this is a four types of knowledge that I want to use. One, two, three, four. And the knowledge hiding is related to knowledge. So this behavior has this component, this is this. So basically, I would say it's a process of mm, structure your laying your foundation for research.
I think everybody is so intrigued about your concept of knowledge hiding. I know I was immediately. I wanted to know more and read more, so I can't wait to read more about that. So, you have presented recently at a conference about that very topic. Can you tell us about the conference and how that went?
Well, I went to the conference named AHRD, which is Academy of Human Research Development, on February this year. Well, the topic was not about knowledge hiding, but it's about the organizational socialization in the company, which is a process that newcomers or employees become a true member of organization by put themselves in the line with the organizational expectation.
I find that fascinating. I think the formation of identity is fascinating and how it assimilates into a job is a new job. I was looking at queer people and the way that heteronormativity or cis heteronormativity, which is the expectation of gender roles, the expectations. And so sometimes queer people have trouble coming out because those expectations are so strong. And sometimes they have trouble combining their authentic personal identity with the expectations in the company. But back to the conference, I was really hoping that you would tell us more about how the conference went. If you saw any other interesting topics or met any interesting people, I am really stoked to hear about that.
Yeah, conference was really nice, and the project started from one of the classes that I took in the first semester, which is Dr. Baumgartner's class, Adult Learning. Well, before I entered this program, I was interested in that topic, and I read like relevant literature. And during the semester, I had a lot of opportunity to write other relevant literature because here there's a lot of information that you can access, right? So I submitted as the final assignment in that class, and I really wanted to develop into a formal draft set in front of chair right after I arrived here on last August and try to polished it in a more formal language and formal structure in a writing. I need to I have a brief outline which written in Korean. So I needed an extra process that translate Korean into English. It was really hard for me. So anyway, the final version of manuscript was developed and I submitted to the AHRD, and they had peer reviewed process which made me really nervous. Fortunately, they accepted, and I had an opportunity to went to Virginia, which is the place the AHRD conference was held. It was really nice. I can met a lot of big name that you can read through your articles and book, and I had an opportunity to introduce myself to them, and now they know my name. That was really fascinating. Yeah.
Thanks, Moon, for telling us that story. I think that a lot of people haven't approached a professor to ask them outside of class to work on their paper to get it ready for a journal article or a conference presentation proposal. What is your advice for anybody who is nervous about approaching their professor?
My advice is that if you want to do something with your professor, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to approach them. Just say hey, I have an idea, or I have an idea and I have a draft related to that. So could you review it and give some comments and feedback on that? That would be help me to develop my academic ability to write some articles or manuscript or draft.
I think that's great advice. Just not going to them cold, but having something in hand will also make you feel more confident and make them understand that you are serious about your proposal and that you're not planning to waste their time or lean on them too heavily. Well, is there any advice that you would give yourself? Thinking about little baby Moon at the beginning of the APCE journey so long ago, 1 year ago, a little bit more than 1 year ago now. Um, Came in nervous. Dr. Baumgartner was a major figure in your textbook, I know, in Korea, and now you had her for a class. So, what advice would you give yourself at that moment?
If I can give some advice to the baby moon of in the last year, I would say read a lot and keep your pace. Please take a rest, and please feel free to reach professor if you need any help. I mean, I read a lot of articles and I spend like 8 to 9 hours on average to study every day.
So, it sounds like you need to take some of your own advice as well. So, thinking about um, grown up Moon, graduated from APSI, you're a professor somewhere, and you're looking back at your graduate experience here. What advice do you think that you would give yourself from that perspective? What would you tell yourself?
Well, this is the only experiences in our lifetime, right? I would say enjoy your life as a PhD student, because I can feel that there are a lot of things that you can enjoy only during the PhD degrees, such as conference or communicate with your colleagues or cohort, meet someone in the academia. That is the first experiences in our lifetime, and the only experiences that we can experience in within our entire life. So I would say enjoy your moment. And I know study is really painful, and especially writing is really painful, but please try to enjoy itself as a process of your growth.
Well, I think that's excellent advice, and that makes me want to go enjoy myself as a graduate student. Actually, I do enjoy this process very much, although, like we were talking about, there is a lot of pressure as well. Thank you, Moon. From Texas State University in San Marcos, I'm Deborah Carter, and this is the APSE GSO podcast. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.